Oh man, Lewis.
That's just wrong. It's a lie. It's fake news. Fake fart news. That's great.
I think we're.
Where's the tweet?
Oh, you're waiting for the tweet action? Oh, you'll be waiting
Yeah.
a little longer.
Yeah. It's making my stomach
All
rumble.
right, you want the tweet action? Here you go.
Yeah.
There you go. Calm down, Lewis. That vein in your forehead's getting very bulgy.
Sounds slightly butthead like.
Oh man, we got Lane Gandy here. The new iPhone is going to be like $1,500, dude. Yeah, well, that's going to be before tariffs. Just wait till the tariffs. Carlos L's here with a very enthusiastic, hey, y'all. We got Betty Reyes here. I think we got enough. I think we have enough to start. Oh, dude. We have to at least mention the tariffs. It's not even in the show notes, but I feel like we got to say something. I don't see how Apple can escape price increases if this holds. It's going to have to. These tariffs are so huge. Then
unless Tim Cook cuts another special deal of some kind,
maybe
up in some way,
but I don't think that's going to happen personally. But who knows? Who knows? And there's no escaping it. I feel like everywhere that things get manufactured outside the U.S., there's.
You think Tim Cook is just going to give up? You don't think he's going to try and capitulate?
Oh, I think he's going to try.
Administration.
Oh, it's TC we're talking about here. He's going to wheel and deal and invite everyone over for Thanksgiving dinner. But I don't know that it's going to work. I don't think that he's going to be able to negotiate his way out of it. Maybe I hope that I'm wrong. TC.
Oh God.
He's the best. He's the best in the biz, right?
I mean,
his eyes get all squinty, and you're like, oh man, we got to do something for this guy.
That's the whole point of implementing the tariffs, so that companies can then bribe the administration and then get their special cutout. That's the whole point.
Yeah, I don't know if that's true, but I haven't heard of any carve-outs. But I haven't researched it.
It just got announced.
Yeah, I was gonna say that it just got announced. I don't know.
Scrambling has just begun.
The great scrambling. All right. Oh man, all I want to do is really just talk about Switch 2 because that was one of my favorite That will probably be one of my favorite announcements of the year, probably of the next 5 years. To be honest with you, it just hit.
Really?
Oh, dude, it hit so many points for me that I was hoping it would hit. I don't know that we'll see. This is the thing. This is we can't even talk about it really on this show because that's not.
Let's do a little chat right now. What are you most excited about this?
He's excited about the price. He loves this is the one thing I heard was the price is just fantastic.
You trying to trigger me? Well, the big marquee feature, 4K on a console that size. The price, not thrilled with, but.
You got to pay for all those Ks, man.
You got to fork it over, man.
Just you wait. The price can get worse.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, that's kind of what I'm wondering. I'm like, did Nintendo price this with the expectation of having a buffer in case there were tariffs put in place? Or are they caught off guard and now they're like, oh, you thought the price was bad when we announced it? Just to wait until we bump it up 25% to account for the tariffs, which they literally could do. But I think the outrage. Look, I put this on my profile on the all new X. I X'd it. I still don't know what to call posts on X.
They're called tweets.
The base price of the console. I don't like it. It's a 50% increase in price. I can deal with that, even though I don't like it. Okay, fine.
The original Nintendo Switch is almost 10 years old. If you adjust for inflation, it's actually not that significant of an increase in price.
Sure. I think that's a fair argument. And plus, they improved this thing in so many ways. I mean, we kept asking for a Switch Pro, and this thing basically delivered, except for the OLED screen, which I'm still on the fence about because OLED is sometimes not the best technology for gaming. So the price of the console, I think, annoyed a lot of people. But I think what was more annoying is the Nintendo's posture towards pricing for gaming, right? So all the games seem to have gone up big time. $80 plus tax for a game, I think, is outrageous. Now, we don't really know exactly how much gaming is going to be generally. or if it's just specific games that are going to cost that much, like Mario Kart World, which may include updates over time. We don't know that yet. And if they do, then I'm like, okay, well, then that's fine. But for other games, Nintendo has so many games where you're like, dude, this might be a first party game. Mario Golf is not worth $80. It's barely worth $20, right? And they might try to do that. And I think what is even more controversial than anything else, this is it. This is the one that took everyone from annoyed to outraged, and why people across the internet have their pitchforks. Is there are Nintendo Switch 2 versions of the game now, and Nintendo expects you to pay extra if you already own the game to like upgrade to like the 4K textures or to upgrade to get the new features. You already own the game. So if you buy a new console, it should just enable that stuff. But no. Nintendo wants you to pay for it. I think that's
it's extra content in a lot of those games as well.
It might be.
You can just take your Nintendo Switch games and play them on the Switch 2 perfectly fine and not pay anything. But if you want the extra content, if you want to, pay for the extra engineering costs that it took to retool these games to take advantage of the greater hardware, then yeah, that costs a little bit of extra money. I was also among the people who made a sarcastic post about that on social media, but mostly in jest. It doesn't upset me at all. It seems perfectly reasonable. If you play if you get a remastered version of a game for a new console, that costs money, and that's exactly what this is. If you don't want to pay it, just play the original.
I don't know if it's that
cartridge in there.
I don't know if it's that cut and dry, because I would guess that the games were originally made to be playable in 4K. Like I would question how much work that had to go into making a game available in 4K, because I imagine, because when they made the game, 4K was ubiquitous in gaming, or mostly ubiquitous. It was, very common. And so I think that they probably made those games knowing that they would need to be available in 4K. And so while there probably is some engineering work that went into it, it's not like they created the game in 1995 and it has to be remastered. All the textures and everything have to be redone like a game from that era. I'm going to guess it's significantly less work than that. And
do we know how much it costs to buy the Nintendo Switch 2 edition, upgrading from the? I don't think we know the cost.
I don't think we know the
it might only be $5.
Maybe. And also, if you have Nintendo Switch Online, all the games that you want to see upgraded to 4K are included in your Nintendo Switch Online subscription. So it's like you already get them. So I don't know, man. I'm not as outraged as everybody else is. We have Betty Reyes in the chat. What's annoying is that they are charging for the tutorial. What do they call that game? Do you remember?
Nintendo Switch 2, like introduction or something like that.
Yeah.
Which they said is a paid game, and I think the price had come out as being $10. That's kind of silly.
Yeah, that was not a good move. I mean, to think that anyone would want to pay you for a game that looks like a demo is so outrageous and preposterous. It just took people from outraged into apoplectic. There you go, Lewis.
Love it.
Put that in your editor and smoke it. And
oh, sorry, go ahead.
It just made people. It just enforced the sentiment that Nintendo is being greedy and is not willing to give anything away to anyone, which I'm not saying that they are. I'm just saying that is the sentiment, because historically, Nintendo gives you a free game of some kind when you get the console. Well, that's not, I guess, necessarily universally true. But there have been times where they gave you a free game, and like a good game like Nintendo Sports, right? And now they're not giving you nothing. It's like, oh, you want a game? Fork it over, pal. $90. Hey, wait a second. Sounds familiar. Sorry, what were you going to say, Griffin?
I have two thoughts. First of all, the rising price makes sense when you consider a little bit. Like, I think what's really cool is that they're turning the Nintendo Switch dock into like a more powerful. It's like your dock. It's not just like a passive piece of plastic that gives you an HDMI port on it. Like, it has active cooling inside the dock itself.
I'm really curious to see how that works,
which is
too. Yeah.
Really cool. I think. I mean, it's really
literally
because yeah. Yeah, it's cool because it provides extra cooling, and that's probably what enables like the extra power when it's docked. Like, people have been asking for a long time. I never use my Switch handheld. I just like a console.
I don't either.
Entertainment center.
Mine is
version
docked almost all the time.
With
Yeah,
more power and with active cooling in the dock. That's pretty much what you get. I think that's really neat.
Dude, Hold on a second. I'm typing this into my ChatGPT window so I can have all the features available. By the way, I've been using ChatGPT and Perplexity. My life has changed, guys. My life is changed. We should talk about these tools more sometime. It is, the more you use them, the more you realize what they can do, and the more you realize what types of jobs they're going to take over in the next 5-6 years. It's pretty crazy. It's like they could create their own podcast now. Like, they don't even need us. Now, will they be as hilarious and as charming and as good looking? Probably not. But will they be more accurate? Without a doubt. Of the Nintendo Switch 2, I could do probably 10 hours of content just on the AI tools that are coming out. Okay, just so I have a list in front of me, okay? So because we were not prepared for this conversation at all. You get the bigger screen, 7.9-inch screen, which I think the previous Switch was like 6.5 or something. I don't actually remember.
I have a theory that the bezels on the Switch 2 are as big as they are because they're planning ahead. When they come out with a Switch 2 OLED,
for sure.
It'll have a slightly bigger screen, and it'll fit in the exact same dimensions.
Oh, dude, 100%. 100%. There's so much delicious revenue opportunities they've built into this thing. I mean, just the fact that they released it with an LCD screen, right there, like in a year or 2 years, they're going to release the OLED version, and everyone's going to rebuy their Switches again. Okay, so I was close. Oh my gosh, dude. I can't believe this. I just put this into ChatGPT. It's giving me like a full-on comparison table of all the differences between the Switch 1 and the Switch 2. I'm telling you, dude, mind-blowing.
It's accurate?
It tends to be very accurate. Yeah. Let's see here. Switch 2, 7.9-inch LCD screen. Switch 1, 2017. Wow, I didn't realize it was that old. 6.2-inch. Switch 2, 1080p screen. Switch 1, 720 screen. Dude. The new Nintendo Switch, 120 hertz, variable refresh rate. No one saw that coming. Nintendo Switch 1, 60 hertz. 2, HDR. 1, no on HDR. Docked output, this is 4K 60 on the Switch 2. 1080 at 60 frames per second on the Switch 1. The Joy-Con 2 have magnetic attaches. They also have, versus that rail sliding mechanism, which I didn't love. They also have magnetic thumbsticks, I think, which is a big
Hall
deal.
effect sensors on the thumbsticks.
Yes, which I think will make them more reliable because there was a lot of thumbstick drift on the Switch 1. Although I never really had that issue.
Thumbstick drift.
I know. Tell me about thumbstick drift. I could go on and on and on and on and on and on, but
they have the sliding mouse mode, and they came out with like the the basketball style game for that. Did you watch the introduction video for that?
Yeah, I did.
That game, I don't remember what it's called. It's like Roll and something.
Yep.
Roll and Dunk or something like that. It's like a basketball.
Rollin' Thunder, that's what they should have called it.
Something like that. That demo very much reminded me of ARMS for the original Nintendo
Oh
Switch.
yeah, I never touched ARMS. Yeah, but I remember the game.
It was a huge marketing push. I don't know anybody who actually played it, but it just had the same vibe for me.
Well, the thing about that game, I mean, obviously it's cool that they made a game where there's people riding around in wheelchairs playing basketball. For that reason alone, cool. But the problem that I saw immediately, I was like, you got to have a table or a flat surface to play this game. How many people have a flat surface available to them while they're gaming on their TV?
What do you mean? Do you not have a table in your living room? What?
Not one where I could put the Joy-Con down and play together with other people. No. So I guess if you have a coffee table, maybe.
Yeah.
I guess a lot of people
have
have
those. A lot
those.
of people do. What do you have in your living room?
I have a small one, but I wouldn't say that's big enough to use for a game like that. Not to mention, it's always covered in stuff, like food, because people use it to eat and stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. Maybe I'm out of touch.
Children, probably.
Okay. Well, I'm trying to see if there's anything else I want to say about it. Yeah.
Really quick. I think I saw, NVIDIA published a blog post today bragging about how they're powering the new Nintendo Switch 2 and whatever. And they had one line there that I don't think Nintendo talked about at all. They're saying that the Switch 2 has 10 times the power of the original Nintendo Switch.
Wow. Dude, it is bonkers. Absolutely insane. And I know we overuse that word, but it truly is that you can do 4K gaming on a Nintendo Switch because it's basically like a big cell phone. And I really I really question how well it's going to work. Are you going to get good frame rates when you're walking through like the Korok forest in Breath of the Wild at 4K 60 hertz? The last look at
I've been cleaning my desktop off. I'm so entranced with this. I feel like I'm a macro data refiner. I'm just like
this does feel like
moving
macro data refining work.
screenshots into my trash can.
Hold on, last point. If you played Breath of the Wild and loved it as much as anyone who played Switch, you could not go through the Korok forest without getting down to about 6 frames per second, right? And that was at like 720p. Now they're supposed to be able to do it in 4K. I'm like, is that even possible on a console of this size? It's gonna have to be like upscaled 4K, which is probably exactly what it is. If it's NVIDIA, it's not true 4K. They're probably gonna generate the frames at 1080p and then upres them to 4K or something, which is fine. I think NVIDIA calls that technology DLSS, I think, and it's standard across all NVIDIA GPUs now.
I think NVIDIA
even
has
on
confirmed
PCs
that it is the case when it's doing 4K.
Which, whatever. As long as it looks good, I don't really care. Being able to play those games on my 4K television, I actually stopped playing Tears of the Kingdom for a variety of reasons, not because I didn't like it. I want to go back and play it. But it was hard to see that game graphically on my 4K TV because it just looked so bad. And to have it up-res to 4K is going to be such a transcendent experience. I'm actually going to go back through and play the entire game. Maybe even Breath of the Wild if I can find. Level Remix, did we talk about how they left out OLED? We touched on it, man. I don't know why they did it. I don't know if it was like a technical decision or if they just want some of that sweet, delicious revenue that they're going to get in a year or two when they're like, oh, hey, we need a mid-cycle bump. Here's that OLED Switch that you all have wanted. By the way, how much is it going to be? The new one's $450. You want an OLED one? Okay.
I was annoyed by that at first until I remembered I just bought an OLED television and I'm probably never going to see the built-in screen, so it shouldn't bother me.
Yeah. Dude, I'm so excited. I mean, a lot of people are upset. They're saying they're going to boycott Nintendo. I get that sentiment. I don't love everything that they did, but the truth of the matter is it's my favorite console. The first-party games are finally being available in 4K, and their first-party games are amongst my favorite games that exist. So, even the Donkey Kong game that's coming out, which kind of looks like Donkey Kong Mario Odyssey, I'll probably get. And I don't even really love. I keep trying to make myself love Donkey Kong games. I can't. I don't think I've played a single one where I was like, this is actually fun. Like I feel like I'm doing my homework. I'm forcing myself to get through the experience. So.
I'm so bad at video games. I was never able to play Donkey Kong Country for the SNES because it's basically just a harder version of Super Mario Brothers, and I was already only barely able to play Super Mario Brothers 3, so there was no way I was going to be able to play Donkey Kong Country. I'll give it a shot though. It's probably gotten easier since then.
Well, Super Mario Odyssey I think is one of the best Mario games that they ever made. That game was so much fun, and if they're gonna remake it as a Donkey Kong game, I'm all for it. Let's wrap up with this. Sorry, I know we're.
Lewis looks like he's about to
Lewis looks like he has intense.
I was thinking about going and cleaning my downstairs.
Hold on, we'll wrap up there. Do we know what time we can pre-order the Switch 2? We don't know the time, but pre-orders commence on April 9th at major retailers. I'm going to guess at midnight. The console releases on June 5th. The base price is $449.99, and
Lewis is one.
He literally
left the room.
And the limited edition bundle, which includes Mario Kart World, which I think is going to include future updates. For that price, I think they're going to give you content for like a certain period of time. That one is $499.99. That's the one I'm going for. It's going to be an expensive purchase, man, but I don't know about you. I'm going to get so much gameplay out of this thing. And Nintendo knows this. And the Switch 1 was so popular, they probably underpriced it. They probably could have charged more. I mean, you could hardly find a Nintendo Switch for like 2 years.
Mm-hmm. I remember I had to get my Switch like way after release date just because I had heard a rumor that the local GameStop in Athens was getting like a shipment of them. So I like drove out there early in the morning before any of my classes. I was still in college at the time, and like waited outside for them to open, and then I bought it. But then, because I was in college, I didn't have any money to buy
any games?
Legend of Zelda after I bought it.
Oh. So. All right, look at poor Lewis. Poor Lewis Wallace. Let's go ahead and wrap it up. Well, Let's start the
That
show.
was a great podcast.
Should we start the show?
Oh, we didn't do it yet.
All right. Let me
That
cue
was all
up
just. Oh, jeez.
pre-funk.
What a wind-up.
Pre-funk, Lewis. All right. Let's go ahead and cue up Mrs. You-Know-Who on Mrs. D. Oh, my dear, I also like to switch it up. Switching positions with Alkany. That is gross. Lewis, did you hear that? Foul.
Yeah, it's not.
Mrs. D, no one wants to hear that ever again. If you don't mind, we have a show that we want to do here and talk about some
Oh
Apple
my
stuff.
God, it's already 2:15.
I know. Let's go ahead and get the music going. In 3.
Gee whiz.
Hello and welcome to the CultCast, the best 30-plus minute Apple conversation you're going to hear all week long. I'm your host, Eric Elijah. Join me today. People often wonder what illegal substances he takes to make his eyes so bulgy and red. It's actually totally natural. It's the result of the constant state of rage he's in from correcting Mac writer errors on a daily basis. He's the manager of Mac. Lewis Walls is here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Allegedly.
Also with us, when not writing for Mac this summer, you'll find him running the event LARP at the Park, a Star Wars fan event where they practice their Force hand waves, lightsaber duels, and Jedi robe sewing. He's a writer at Mac. Griffin Jones is here.
Good evening. You write a lot of these Star Wars-based intros for me, but you don't like Star Wars is not even my favorite fandom. You got to write more Doctor Who themed ones.
Oh,
Some of those might actually be true.
That's a great suggestion. Oh man, if he goes to LARP at the Park
projecting.
for Star Wars, it's not even.
I mean, if the order goes Doctor Who, Star Trek, then Star Wars, like way at the bottom.
Oh man, that's
Wow.
that's good information to have. I don't know anything about Doctor Who though. I know they have a telephone booth.
Exterminate. That's about all I know. Oh no,
I'm
he's
about to
got,
look
Put
that
it
up.
down
he's got a
on my desk right
Dalek.
here.
He's
Oh,
Dalek.
boy. He's
Dalek.
breaking
How
out
you
the
pronounce it?
toys. There we go. I can never make fun of a man for having toys. Can you see what's going on behind me? I can say nothing. All right, everyone. Well, you missed a great pre-funk. I don't know. Maybe
Oh boy, you sure did. Oh my God.
maybe the Grifter will put this in at the end of the show. I gather that he was thinking about it, which is why he wanted to do it. But we did a full, 15 minutes on the Nintendo Switch 2, which, dude, I could do another hour, to be honest with you. But we got to talk about some Apple stuff. We should probably also talk about tariffs at some point because those could affect people.
Oh God,
I'll
I already promised not to.
All right.
Come
Well,
on.
I mean, maybe just mentioning how it could affect people. But let's see here. We're going to be talking about Apple prepping the M5, iPad Pro, and MacBook Pro. Of course. I just bought mine. Of course. They're coming out with new ones right after I bought mine. So Griffin's going
Who
to tell us
could have
about
guessed?
Apple's plan to put an AI health coach on all your devices. Finally, something that AI will do that's useful for you. Lewis is going to talk about Apple Watch 10 prototype reveals. Did I read that right? 10 prototype reveals mysterious new health sensor. Oh, I love the giant question mark box there. Griffin's going to tell us about emulators and multiplayer for Nintendo DS. Is this in iOS? What am I missing here? Or is this just emulators in general?
This is for the iPhone app. Yeah.
Okay, I missed that part.
iPhone and iPad.
Let's see here. And then he's got a live unboxing of some kind of mystery product that neither Lewis nor I know about. So that will be interesting for people listening. Of course, you can always watch the CultCast at watch.thecultcast.com. And all of our episodes are archived there on our YouTube channel. You can catch the shows live on Thursdays. We typically go live. See, here's the thing. People keep asking me, like, when do you go live? I want to watch. The problem is that we don't go live at the same time. We're typically live between 12:30. Today we're live at 2 p.m. This is really late. We don't typically go live this late, but usually around 12:30 you're going to be pretty safe because we generally start around that time. Sometimes 12:45, but we're usually kind of around that time at live.thecultcast.com. There was something else I was going to mention. Do you remember what it was, Griffin? Yeah. We're going to kick it off with a comment from someone who texted us. By the way, you can text us so easily, just straight from your phone. It takes like two seconds. Just go to the show notes at the very top. There'll be a link to text us. Someone from Virginia, they didn't leave their name. Great show. Is there anything wrong with the download capability of the podcast? The past couple of episodes, I have not been able to download nor even play over Apple Podcasts or Overcast. The answer to that question is it seems like yes. We've noticed in the download numbers, we switched podcast hosts, and it looks like there's something going on. So if you're having a problem, would you let us know somehow? I don't know how widespread this problem is, but unsubscribing and resubscribing seems to fix it for a lot of people, but not for everybody, and we're not quite sure what's going on, and we're trying to figure out what we need to do about this. So yeah,
I mean,
thanks for
we're never going
calling
to
that
hear
out.
from the people who like haven't been able to listen to the podcast because they won't even hear us say this.
Touche. That's right. They're just gone forever.
Tell your friends.
That's a great
Tell
point.
your friends.
That's a great point. All right. So if you were having a problem and you're back, welcome back. Let us know. I'm just curious how widespread the problem is. Let's see here. Before we dive in, I want to try to convince y'all to give Factor a try. Dude, the other day, I ate 3 Factor meals in one day. And it was a great day because the
It
Factor
wasn't one
meals
sitting.
are so delicious. Well, we were getting close to like the expiration date, and I'm like, well, gonna have to eat these Factor meals.
to hammer it down.
I ate 1 for lunch and 2 for dinner. And
Whoa.
dude, they were so delicious.
By
Factor-
yourself.
By myself, yeah. Factor has chef-made gourmet meals that make eating well easy. They're dietitian approved and ready to heat and eat in 2 minutes. And you'll feel great because they're made of really good ingredients. They're absolutely delicious. It's like having restaurant quality food in your fridge. They arrive fresh, fully prepared, and they're quick to heat up. They're never frozen, so they're actually really like juicy and succulent. This time I tried something new. I went with the keto meals. And I'll be honest, I was a little nervous. I was like, I don't know how these are going to taste. Absolutely delicious. Huge hunks of meat covered in like delicious sauces, and then just like giant pile of vegetables. I love that you know exactly how many calories you're eating. I love that they're extremely low carb. I generally try to eat low carb. I'll splurge every once in a while, but these are so good. I just absolutely love having them in the house. And they sent us a bunch of smoothies to try out, all really delicious, great ingredients, healthful, good for charging up, like if you're heading to a workout or something. And then they're just handy to have around. If you don't feel like cooking, you can heat these up really quick. And they are, again, like having restaurant quality takeout in your fridge. And the
They're
thing
absolutely
is,
incredible if you work in an office. Like if you
for sure.
if you're never sure what to do for lunch at work, you know, you don't want to create a lot of dishes. I mean, these are perfect. Like just bring like a disposable plastic fork, heat these up in the little microwave at work. Then your lunch is taken care of, and you can just throw it all away in like 15 minutes. You
Yeah.
don't have to worry about washing the dishes in the little office kitchenette or whatever.
That's a great point. And the thing I love about these also is that they don't zap your energy. Like when you eat them, you won't feel like you have to take a nap afterwards. Like you'll actually feel energized because the ingredients are just simple and wholesome. Eat smart with Factor. Get started at factormeals.com/cultcast50 off and use code cultcast50 off to get 50% off your first box. That's a big box of food. Plus free shipping. That's code cultcast50 off at factormeals.com/cultcast50 off to get 50% off plus free shipping on your first box. It makes the food super affordable. It's absolutely worth trying. You'll get a great box of food for a really great price just to try it out. And remember, the code and the URL both are cultcast50 off. So make sure you put that in when you are going to get your first free or your first box for 50% off plus free shipping. Okay, let's go ahead and dive right in.
Oh, wait, I gotta know.
Sure.
What were the 2 things in your first Factor bang bang?
My first Factor bang bang.
Yeah.
What does that even mean? I have no idea.
Really? Come on now.
When you had
2 meals
two
back
in
to
one
back.
meal.
Oh, I don't remember. One was a pork chop. And let me tell you this, dude. I know we're done with the promotion. Pork chops are a hit or miss business, man. It is hard to cook a good pork chop. Like, pork chops generally end up being like Italian shoe leather.
You
And-
don't know how to cook them.
Well, that's the problem. That's what I'm saying. I would say I actually do know how to cook them. Most people do not. And I made
Okay.
tons of bad chops in my life. It is hard to cook a juicy, succulent pork chop. And so when I started trying it, I was like, we'll see how this goes. But all I can say is it was delicious. The sauce was great. And you know what? How you know for sure it's good? You could cut it with a fork, Lewis. That's how you
Nice.
know that meat is juicy and succulent. and you're going to be enjoying that meal. If you can cut a piece of meat with a fork, you're in for a tasty endeavor. All right. Let's go ahead and
Now I'm hungry.
now you're hungry for dinner. I'm making a corned beef tonight, Lewis.
Really?
Corned beef, baby. I haven't made one in a long time. I've been waiting for this one. I got it sitting in my fridge, and tonight I think it's the night. That cow's going in the pot. Should we talk about some Apple stuff? Sure thing, me. Back to me. Oh, whoops. I almost just closed the entire stream. That would not be good. Let's talk about M5 iPad Pro and MacBook Pro launching later this year. Can I go ahead and bring up my story? There we go. Well, you knew it was going to happen because I just bought mine. Of course, mine didn't have the tariffs in place when I made the purchase. So maybe I still did make the right call. But according to Mark Gurman in his Power On newsletter, Apple is in the late stages of testing the M5 iPad Pros. Now, we weren't sure if these were going to come in 2026. It seemed like they were. But it seems like they actually might be coming in the second half of 2025, according to Gurman. Late in Q3 or early Q4, which is not far from now, so the Christmas season. This would align with Apple's 18-month refresh on flagship iPads. If you're wondering what we're going to get, well, it's probably going to just be a spec bump. Just a spec bump up to M5. And you know what? I say this to my great shame. I am coming from the A12X iPad Pro, the 2018 model, to the M4. And I got to say, I'm not noticing a lot of differences. You know, I just don't do anything that stresses these iPads in any way, shape, or form. And they're already so powerful that I'm really not doing anything that I feel like makes me really see the power. Now, the new screen is OLED, and it's beautiful. And the blacks are definitely blacker. And it's a little springier when I do stuff. And I don't notice that apps have to, like, reload if I have too many open. So there's a few things. But other than that, and the Apple Pencil support actually is definitely much improved. There's the hovering cursor. There's the ability to turn the cursor when you're hovering. So there are some good improvements. There's less lag when you're writing. But it's amazing that there aren't more noticeable differences.
Stage Manager. You didn't have Stage Manager before.
That is true. And I plan on not using it now.
Yep.
Actually, you know what? I think I did have Stage Manager. Was that not available on the 2018? I think it was.
Oh yeah, I think they may have ported it back because enough people complained about it.
I think I did try it, and I used it for about 2 hours, and I was like, no,
But now
not
you
for
can
me.
use Stage Manager with an external display. You definitely couldn't do that before.
That might be true. I never use my iPad with an external display. Well, I do sometimes, but not very often. But you know what? I'm still happy to have it. It's a beautiful machine. I got 512 gigabytes of storage, so now I'm using it as my photo editing computer, which I never did before. And as soon as I would say, tried it out and discovered that this was a good way to use the iPad, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is the way to like view and manage your photo library, and that way the photos don't clutter your Mac, and you have a much better like user experience viewing the photos, editing the photos. I absolutely love it. So for me, I just wanted to upgrade because I've had my iPad for a while, and I have the 512 gigabytes now that I'll be using for photos. Anything else to say? Maybe not really.
Well, we know that the M5 is going to be a spec bump, but
Yeah.
it's not even going to be that much of a bump. This is from the story. This will result in only a 5% boost in performance and a modest 5 to 10% gain in efficiency. So just a spec bump, and honestly, more like a tap.
A spec tap. It's Apple being able to put the new icon on the glyph on apple.com. So when you go to buy it for the holiday season, you're like, oh, it's
so
new.
important.
I should get one, right? So, but you know what? If it's a little bit faster, I'm sure there'll be some other minor tweaks. There you go. If you're planning on getting an iPad Pro, I think a refurb is probably not a bad idea. I mean, we don't know how all of these tariffs are going to affect all of our lives. I don't see, with the magnitude of the tariffs that we saw, unless TC carves out something for Apple and Co., which, Griffin was mentioning earlier, could happen. If that doesn't happen, I don't know how Apple eats the cost for all these tariffs. I just don't see it. I mean, the tariffs are so big, and it's not just Apple, but all these companies, I don't see how they eat that cost. I mean, can they swallow a 10% tariff? Probably.
It's a 34% tariff on products from China, is it not?
I don't
It was
know.
like 45.
I don't know if
and
that's
Apple
universal.
only has a 28% profit margin on their hardware.
Yeah. So like that's what I'm saying, right? If the tariff is across the board one flat rate, which I don't know that it is, but I think it is, and there's no
50.
carve outs, your Apple products are going to go up big time. Apple's not going to eat all that cost. And I don't know if you've been looking at the stock market today, but the stocks are reacting accordingly.
Avert
At least
your
the people-
eyes.
Yeah, don't look. Don't look. Oh my goodness.
Irfan, how's your Apple stock doing?
Ah! You're trying to trigger
Oh,
me.
it's so funny.
You know what, though? Now's a great time to buy. I really think that now's a great time to buy. Because eventually, the tariffs will probably go up. I mean, it might, or go down, or go away. It might be a year or two. Who knows? Or it could be 2 weeks. I mean, TC is going to get all squinty and start focusing and come up with some kind of solution that none of us thought of before. And Apple will carve out some kind of... I honestly don't think that's going to happen. I don't think there's going to be very many carve-outs, but we'll see. So, but in the meantime, dude, let me just say, absolutely loving my M4 Max MacBook Pro. The 14-inch, absolute dream, complete revelation. Love that machine in every way, shape, and form. Is it powerful enough to edit a YouTube video in 1080p? Not quite, but
knows?
I'm looking for some plugins that will help me get that YouTube video out without having to, wait. What is going on my screen right now? Without having to wait,
what
a year and a
process
half.
is your video done? Is it shot and you just can't edit it?
I just can't. The video's complete. I just can't export it because the M4 Max just can't handle all the different elements I have.
It's
going
been
on
going
all the
for a
time.
few weeks now, and it's eventually.
And then it
gonna-
crashes completely, and I'm
Are
like,
you serious?
oh
You're
yeah,
kidding, right?
Oh yeah,
You-
yeah.
you- it's this-
It's only got 40 GPU cores, Lewis. I mean,
Tim Cook's gonna sue you for this.
I think they got other more important pressing things on their mind. No, of course, it just a gaffe, just a goof. All right, should we move on? Let's talk about maybe an actual useful way to get to use AI, since Apple's looking for those right now. The AI health coach, Griffin. That's what we need to get healthy.
Will this be useful? We'll see. Apple's health team is focusing on Project Mulberry, an initiative combining a completely redesigned health app with an AI coach. The service, which has evolved from what was previously codenamed Project Quartz, I don't know why that information is useful, is now in active development with a potential release in iOS 19.4, expected in spring or summer of 2026. An AI coach will analyze the information collected from your iPhone and iPad and Apple Watch and all the other sources and sensors to provide personalized health improvement recommendations. Apple is training this AI agent with data from its in-house physicians and plans to incorporate videos from external medical experts specializing in sleep, nutrition, physical therapy, mental health, and cardiology. These videos will serve as educational resources, explaining specific health conditions and suggesting lifestyle improvements based on user data. That part of it sounds kind of useful, and that sort of plays to Apple's forte. Food tracking will be a central feature of the revamped app,
That could be
an
useful.
area Apple has largely avoided until now. Additionally, Apple is developing camera-based features that would allow the AI coach to analyze users' workout techniques and offer improvement suggestions, potentially integrating with Apple Fitness Plus. That also feels like it, plays right to their hand and their strengths there. As Apple establishes a facility near Oakland, California, for physicians to create content for the app, the company is also searching for a prominent medical personality to serve as the face of what some Apple employees are informally calling Health Plus.
Oh man.
And to that, I just to say, they already have a doctor on their staff, Dr. Dre.
Well, I wonder if he's available. He tours a lot, doesn't he? You know who
Yeah.
would have been great? Richard Simmons. He could have been the guy, Lewis. R.I.P. But he could have been the guy that could have taken these health features to the masses, danced his
So-
way right into their hearts.
Yeah. So again, I think it's like integrating like food tracking. That seems like a logical next step for the health app. Having those like videos that already builds off of like what they already have, where they have like built in like suggestions and like info cards. Like if you're looking at, I don't know, resting heart rate, they have like a little info card at the bottom of the data that says, oh well, this is a normal range. This is what it means for your health and all that. Like that's just. It sounds like these rumors are just like turning that text into like more engaging videos and stuff.
Yeah.
Because people under 30 can't read and they only want to watch videos.
They can. They just don't
But-
want to. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Using an AI coach, AI powered thing, that like trying to, give you health recommendations based on AI, that I am skeptical to say the least. Like, I mean, everybody would say that unabashedly. I don't think anybody would argue that Google is ahead of Apple in the AI game, right? We all
Oh
agree on
well,
that. And then you talk about
I
like,
think
and
my
then you talk about
utility
like the Google
company is
search
ahead of
assistant.
Apple in the AI game.
Yeah. And, okay. Well, and then you look at what Google is doing. Like Google saying, yeah, it's safe to put glue on pizza. Yeah, it's safe to eat 5 to 6 donuts a day as a girl. Like you can't. This is nonsense. You can't. How can we believe that Apple is actually going to do this when Google can't or Facebook can't? Like this is going to be absolute. I. How if they can't even make Siri do like the basic things that they showed off a year ago without firing the entire like upper level of the team, how are they going to possibly make this work?
Dude, Apple is so far behind. And it's not just Apple. I think most companies are so far behind. If you use any products from like any of the companies that are out there that are making popular AI products like OpenAI, dude, these companies that are on the cutting edge, and then you see what other companies are trying to do, and the whole thing is so trendy right now, like the whole AI movement. But like once you see what's possible with one of these, and with OpenAI is a great example. Like just the features that are public. There's a lot of stuff that's not even public that they're working on, and then seeing what they can do, and then seeing what Apple can do. They're not even in the same dimension. And I don't know how Apple catches up. Now, sure they have TC who gets real squinty, and drives fear into the hearts of his employees because they know that, he could discipline you in that underground Apple white room that they have for people that leak Apple rumors like John Prosser experienced. But that fear only takes you so far, I don't think it drives innovation. Google has Notebook LM, which is a pretty advanced AI product, which you can use to like upload a huge PDF document and then create, I'm not even joking, this is real, create a podcast with 2 AI personalities that talk about that content in one of the most realistic conversations I've ever heard any artificial intelligence have. It sounded like 2 real people. Like all the little ahums and ohs and oh, yeah, whoa. Like all those little things that people say, like the breath noises, everything, man. It will create a podcast from a complicated topic that you upload that you can listen to at your leisure. And then
I bet it sounds great the first time, and I bet the 10th time you listen to one, it's the same, sprinkling of
Dude, it was completely natural. If you heard it, there is no way you would know that those were AI. Absolutely no way. At least in the snippet that I heard. And I think it's different every time you generate it. Now I will say the voices were a little bit too NPR-y for me. Like you got to be able to fine tune the persona. Like I want my podcast host to sound like Terry Bollea, but they don't have that. They don't have that yet.
The other day I was listening to a New York Times podcast, The Daily, and I swear to God, the host said, so many times. I thought she has got that on a soundboard. She's got her mic off. She's just sitting there, and like every time this guy says something, she's just gonna press that button. Oh my God! Once I heard it, I was like, I gotta stop listening to this. I was just infuriated. Oh my God! It drove me mad.
I know it's one of those things where like those sound effects are really useful in a conversation with someone because you want to like encourage them to keep going. But when you hear on a podcast, it's very annoying. So you have to like, you're conflicted because you're like, I want you to know that I'm listening to you, but as a podcast listener, I don't want to hear all that extraneous noise. It just ruins it for me. Like, when you're talking, I only want to hear you talking. I don't want to hear the other guy go, it's a great point. And I do that too. Like I'm guilty as charged, but it is annoying, isn't it? All right, let's move on. Actually, before we do that, may I take a moment? Could I interest you in a Squarespace website? Do you still not have a Squarespace website? Well, if you haven't, now's your time to strike because they've got a promotion going on here that I think you're really going to like. But before I tell you about that, let me just mention I use Squarespace and I love it. It makes running the cultcloth.co so easy because you can have it up in mere moments. It's easy to connect your payment platforms. It's easy to connect your different shipping services that you need to like fulfill products. And Squarespace makes it easy to sell any kind of product you could possibly conceive of. Membership websites, digital products, physical products. If you can figure out a way to sell a digital product, good for you. It's like a practical US Mint right there. Customers can download PDFs that you sell, music, ebooks, or you can sell access to your time. I mean, you can literally do it all. They have flexible payment options like PayPal, Apple Pay, ClearPay, Afterpay. You can accept everything and know that your customers are going to have the payment options that they want there. Squarespace Blueprint is a guided system that makes it easy to get your website up quickly. You just choose from their professionally curated layouts, style it how you want. Everything's drag and drop, super easy to use, and you'll have a uniquely yours website up in mere moments. I've been using Squarespace for like 10 years now. I pay for it. They don't give it to me for free because I just really like it. It is a great platform, and it will help you have the online presence that you want for your business, for your upcoming event, for promoting your skill sets to the masses. Just head to squarespace.com/cultcast for 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain with code cultcast at checkout, squarespace.com/cultcast. And the offer code to use is cultcast at checkout. Where were we, Lewis? I've completely lost my spot. Mm-hmm.
Oh, dear. Oh, dear. We were just talking about health, right?
Okay.
The amazing doctor. By
Shall
the
we
way, I think
continue?
that the person they should base the AI doctor on is Hugh Laurie from House.
That would be fun.
Get off your fat ass and move.
You know, honestly, that would solve a lot of health problems, Lewis.
You appear to have just eaten your 4th chocolate bar of the day. Not a good choice.
I disavow.
They get the
But please continue.
they get all the AI, like the AI cameras from your AirPods, checking what you're eating in real time.
That would be a useful feature, yeah.
Think about that.
It just shows you an AI-generated image of your man boobs growing 10%.
Yeah, right. At projected rate of growth, you will look like a cue ball by next summer.
You will need a new man's ear in approximately 35 days.
Oh, God. Yeah. Okay. So the next story we have is this Apple Watch 10 prototype that revealed a mysterious new health sensor. This thing surfaced online Monday, shared by Apple prototype collector on X known as Stella Fudge. You might remember this person.
Oh,
they were
of course.
the leaker formerly known as Choco Bit.
I've got notifications turned on.
I actually do. I follow this person because they're always sharing really cool stuff about Apple. So this image is an Apple Watch Series 10 prototype, supposedly, and it has a circular sensor arrangement on the back of the device that's radically different from the configuration found on the Series 10 models that actually shipped. Are you showing the picture?
I'm showing it right now, Lewis.
The Series 10 one has larger, more spaced out sensors. This prototype has smaller sensors concentrated in the center of the sensor glass. And as our reporter wrote, perhaps most intriguingly, the prototype includes an additional ring of lights around the perimeter of the sensor area. The purpose of this ring remains unknown, but its presence suggests Apple was testing enhanced health monitoring capabilities. Stella Fudge wrote, at this time, I don't know what the extra sensor is for, but a test platform for blood sugar is a likely possibility. That's something that Apple's been talking about trying to implement forever.
That would be bringing, I know we've said this before, so forgive me if you heard me say this before. Adding a glucose meter to a easily accessible, affordable device like this would be one of the greatest achievements in technology. Period. Full stop.
Awesome.
Yeah, it would change people's lives.
Apple's been working on forever. This Apple Watch prototype was running an internal build of Watch OS 11.1, build number 22R5575X.
Wow.
In case you want to memorize that.
You had that just memorized, I know.
Yeah. So that was never publicly released, and it's supposedly positioned somewhere between Watch OS 11.1 Beta 5 and the release candidate. Anyway, you can't test these prototypes' unique sensors because the necessary apps can only be retrieved from Apple's internal network servers. final retail version, blah, 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 I don't know why that's in the show notes. Guess what? Series 10 did not come with that blood sugar thing. Came with practically nothing. It would have been awesome if it did, as we've mentioned over and over on the show. And if they had that type of constant blood sugar monitoring, the way that we have constant heart rate monitoring, I mean, that's just a whole nother level of always on useful data that can tell you about how your health is trending, how your, for instance, decisions about what to eat or drink affect you. It'd be great. I honestly, Leander wrote about this in the newsletter this week, and we had a poll about it. Would you like this? And so many people were like, I have diabetes, and it would be awesome to have this. But other people were like, I think the more important thing is even when you don't have diabetes, it could give you really good, actionable information.
Yeah, 100%.
And the fact that, I think a while ago, maybe a year ago or so, we had last heard that Apple had developed a non-invasive blood sensor, but it was like a roughly iPhone-sized device that's strapped to your upper arm. If they've managed to at least create some manner of prototype that fits within a watch, I mean, that's a huge breakthrough. Now, whether they can manufacture it that way or still make money without raising the cost to $12,000, right, with that technology shrunken down to an Apple Watch, that's the next problem to solve. I mean, it also could be that this is completely wrong, and that's just an unrelated sensor that we don't know about. Maybe that's their own in-house designed blood oxygen sensor.
That's true.
Dude, when are we getting that back? Holy moly.
It's like people forgot about it or something. And one of the things that Leander said was that Tim Cook was supposedly testing a watch with a blood sensor. Cook was wearing a watch that had some sort of sensor where they were testing blood sugar, non-invasive sugar monitoring. So, I mean, if I remember correctly, there was something like, it's not accurate enough even for Apple's sort of, non-clinical, non-diagnostic sort of, hey, it seems as if, this is not a health feature. This is wouldn't it be nice if you went and checked with your doctor to see if what this appears to be showing is actually true, that kind of thing, which is fine. I mean, that would be helpful. If it was 90% accurate, it would be helpful. But anyway,
that would definitely be a good start.
I don't know. It's funny. Leander mentioned that, and didn't find a link in the post. I don't know exactly where he was supposed. I don't know where that rumor came from that he was testing that. So I hope it wasn't AI generated.
Oh, Cult of Mac? Definitely not. Although maybe you should consider it. It'd be a lot cheaper to use AI than constantly be chasing down escaped Cult of Mac writers. I'm just saying.
Take this Mark Gurman tweet and turn it into a 300-word news article.
Hey, you know what? You can do that. Take this newsletter, rephrase it, change the paragraphs around.
Make it sound more pleasant.
Hey, that's an angle. That's an angle right there.
Inject some hope.
All right, let's move on. Let's talk about emulators, because I love
more
emulators.
Gaming talk. Oh,
yeah. Lewis,
hallelujah!
Lucky
Your favorite
you.
part of this show.
Lucky you, Lewis. Hey, you know what? Maybe you should get into gaming, Lewis.
Lewis, I know you're not interested in the Switch 2 because you're such a fan of the original Nintendo DS.
That's all he plays.
Why would I play Mario Kart World when I can keep playing Mario Kart DS? Well, I have news for you.
I don't even know what a DS is.
Oh, it's the Nintendo DS.
Oh, you've got one on hand.
Yeah, of course I've got one on hand. I've got the original Nintendo DS.
Oh, I've seen one of those. Okay.
The ugly silver one from 2003.
Ugly. How dare you? Look at that beauty.
I think it's gorgeous.
I do too.
I'm just quoting what other people
There's
don't like
nothing
it.
Nintendo has ever made that's been ugly.
Does that have a plastic screen?
Oh yeah, of course it does. Yeah, it was 2003. It's a resistive touchscreen, so it has a stylus as well.
Oh my God.
Good stuff. Anyways, you don't need this hunk of junk anymore because now we have Delta, the popular game emulator for various Nintendo systems on iPhone and iPad, developed by a friend of the show, Riley Testut and Shane Gill. Version 1.7 brings live online multiplayer to Nintendo DS games inside the emulator.
That's wild.
So Nintendo discontinued their DS online services in 2014. So now Delta is the one and only way to play Mario Kart DS and GTA Chinatown. I haven't heard of that game before, but apparently it's another popular one. This is the only way to play those games with live online multiplayer now. This doesn't use Nintendo servers; those are shut down forever. But there's like this fan community powered service that runs that basically mimics the Nintendo online service and runs in its place. And so without any modifications to the DS ROMs, you can load up Mario Kart DS in Delta and play live online multiplayer inside the Delta app on your iPhone.
Wow, that's
or
bonkers,
iPad.
man.
It's really cool. Users only need to select a preferred server within the emulator settings. No complex DNS or network configuration required. So this is a pretty major update. Pretty cool. Another great feature that I will be using is that it has improved support for the Nintendo 64, the greatest video game console in the world.
It's one of the best. It's one of the best ever made. And GoldenEye on Nintendo 64, arguably one of the greatest games, one of the greatest eras in gaming history.
Golden Eye?
Yeah.
GoldenEye 007 for the N64. You've never played it?
There's life before
Sadly,
GoldenEye,
no.
and there's life after, Lewis.
And there's life without.
And then there's the life without, which we all see how miserable that is.
Could have been
Yeah,
a turning
man.
point for me.
Well, it's never too late to try, Lewis. There's lots of Nintendo 64s available on eBay.
How does Nintendo allow this?
I always wonder that. They just seem to not care.
Delta, well, they're very litigious about their recent consoles.
Yeah.
But with Delta, I think I don't even know if they have GameCube support. They only go up to the N64 and I guess the Nintendo DS, but nothing newer than that. And they've thus avoided any litigation. But
It is surprising, though, because Nintendo is so litigious. Like, you would think that it doesn't matter what generation console you're emulating, that they would want to sue you for that. But I don't know. Apparently not. And it's especially confusing because they recycle their games a lot. So they'll make games available on their new consoles all the time. And so they have a vested financial interest in people not just being able to play these games in emulations. But it's cool that they don't do it because I think that would be a bad look optically, and it would ruin their goodwill.
There was a community like Nintendo Switch emulator that was going around for PC and I think maybe Mac too.
Mm-hmm.
And Nintendo not only made them shut down, they made them delete all of their source code from the internet.
Wow. Okay, so they do it sometimes.
They pulled out all the lawyers for that.
Okay, so there are scenarios where they will sue you into oblivion, and you'll end up in a Japanese gulag for your remaining days.
Yeah.
Taking apart circuit boards for recycling complaints. By the way, I'm sorry that I just went full on Michael Jackson here with my brightness in this room. I can't control it. My camera's not connecting to my phone for some reason, so I can't control my exposure here. So have fun with that reflection.
Anyways, do we want to do the next story or do we want to jump straight to the unboxing?
Let's just go to the unboxing, man. We're almost out of
Okay.
time. Look how bulgy and
Okay.
red Lewis's eyes are. They're getting worse.
I have a
He's
very
gonna wrap
exciting
up.
product to unbox
Nice.
today.
Let's see it.
So
More
So
of this
switch to
live
so
without a net crap.
excited.
I'm getting nervous.
I'm going to switch to camera 2 here.
Oh, camera 2. Oh my! Look at
Oh,
this,
yes.
Lewis. We got 2 cameras.
Wow.
Move my microphone
Fancy.
over here.
This is great. Look at this production value. Has never been better.
Okay. Let's see here.
I thought about
Alright.
setting up a camera too, but then you'd all see what is outside of the set that I have here and how horribly disheveled and it looks like Leander Kaney's office in here. Yeah, we see you. Looks great,
Okay.
man.
Do we have any final guesses what this might be?
It looks like that thing they carried around in Pulp Fiction. Is that box going to glow when you open it?
It is a large plastic case. It's got
Yeah.
a.
It's
Clips
like
on
one of
the
those
top.
Pelican cases.
Here's another clue.
Oh,
It
oh,
says
you got the Sigma camera,
in big
didn't you?
letters.
That's what you got. You got the full frame Sigma cam.
Well, let's see.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Do you have any guess which model?
It's that new one that they just announced.
You're right. This is
Did you
the
wrap it in a
Sigma
handkerchief?
VF. They did. They've got this. So it comes in like a Pelican case with
Yeah.
the foam inserts and everything.
I'm
And
sorry.
Inside, they have
This is the first time you've ever opened it?
I briefly opened it just to double check that it didn't have my address on a piece of paper in here. But and I did briefly turn on the camera, but I'm going to re-unbox it. I packaged it up exactly as it was.
You should give some preamble about what this is, because a lot of people aren't going to know why this is special.
Yes. I'll do that as we're going here.
Okay.
So we've got this handkerchief style wrapper that's
a cult
like
cloth.
sort of sticky on the inside.
Not nearly
That
the
it's
same
wrapped
quality.
in. I'll unwrap it here to reveal. This is a full frame camera, but what's special about it is really its design. This got a lot of excitement just because of how cool it looks.
Yeah.
It's very like Johnny Ive. I
Oh,
think the
it's
camera might be flipped on the video, but anyways, yeah. It's basically just a solid block of aluminum, some texture on the side. Very very simple controls. They don't actually physically click these buttons. They're touch sensitive.
capacitive. Okay.
Very but I guess it rotates.
It's got a wheel. That's good. Okay.
Got a little jog wheel. Okay, and we've got the lens here.
That is, I don't know if Apple would make that camera today, but if Apple made a camera back in like the iPod days, like that's what it would look like.
Oh yeah,
Look at that.
all solid aluminum. Solid
Dude,
brushed
it's beautiful.
aluminum. I think they might have a black one too, but or maybe they don't. I don't know.
Yeah.
But honestly, the silver one is what it's for. It's got that great look to it. So we'll put the lens on it.
This
It
thing
has this neat little catch release to release the lens cap or the camera attachment.
is this
sensor
camera even
attachment
released
cap.
yet?
I don't think it is.
I was gonna
So
say I don't.
sh-
This is the first time I'm actually. I guess there were some people who had this on YouTube, but this is the first time I'm actually seeing one, in the wild.
I should also say they are not letting me keep this.
Of course,
This is a very
yeah.
expensive camera.
Yeah.
This is just for a brief review period. Let me try and figure out how to attach this thing. Nope.
Oh no.
Won't seem to go in.
Hopelessly bent.
He bent the pins. Sigma was gonna
It's
want
all
their
very
$8,000 back.
Is there another thing that I've got to do here? Let me put the lens cap back on just so I don't destroy that while I'm trying to manhandle this thing and figure it out.
While you're doing this, I'm gonna rattle off some specs.
Oh,
24.6 megapixel full frame sensor. It has internal storage, 230 gigs of internal storage, which they say is good enough for 14,000 JPEGs, 4,300
No
raw
SD card
images.
slot anywhere on the camera.
Oh, it doesn't
We
even
should
have a
say,
slot on it at all.
Not
Wow.
only does it have internal storage, there's no SD card slot.
I did not know that. L mount compatibility, so Sigma lenses, L mount lenses. That's kind of a lesser used lens mount would be my guess, or is my take.
Compatible with Leica lenses and
Okay.
of course Sigma's own lenses.
It's only it's available in April. Price is $2,000. That's cheaper than I thought. I'm really curious. It says the autofocus system is. Let me see here. Where does it say this?
AI
Hybrid.
powered.
I don't think it's AI powered. It probably could
really?
use some AI. Hybrid phase and contrast detection. I'm really curious. It says it can recognize people, dogs, and cats.
Yeah.
We'll see how well it works. So I'll be really curious to hear your opinions on this, Griffin. This camera was
if I
like,
can put it together.
It's-
I'm still fiddling with this thing.
it's a good thing that I'm here vamping.
But what? Explain what full frame means.
It's the size of the sensor. So they describe there's different sensor sizes. Full frame is probably one of the most popular types of sensor sizes. It means that it has a full sensor size. I don't know exactly what the dimensions are of the sensor, but it enables like shallower depth of field. It has better low light performance. Anything larger than full frame is, I would say, going to be more professional grade. Like medium format would be the next size up, which has a really huge sensor. Large format, even bigger than that. But full frame is like by far the most ubiquitous. Well, maybe not. I was gonna say in the world of consumer cameras, it probably is close, but crop sensors might be more popular. But like in photography, professional photography, it's really common for people to use full frame cameras.
It matches the size of a classic 35 millimeter film frame. The image sensor does.
Full frame does?
That's what Google AI search says.
Okay,
A full
I
frame
thought
camera
that
refers to a digital camera with an image sensor that matches the size of a classic 35 millimeter film frame.
what's the difference
Okay.
between Super 35?
After roughly 5 minutes of fiddling with it, I have attached the lens.
Yeah,
Good
that
job,
looks like
man.
a very easy to use camera.
Ooh, Sigma logo.
Wow, it
So
came
let's
charged.
take
That's
my
nice.
take my first picture of the view out my window.
Oh, he's gonna reveal his secret location. Here we go.
Oh,
Oh, dude, so it
let's
has
see.
the exposure on the on a little screen on the back. This thing looks so futuristic. It just looks like it came from outer space. By the way, if you want to watch this and you're listening to it, my apologies. Watch.thecultcast.com. Watch.thecultcast.com. We're probably about an hour into the show, so it should be somewhere around that mark. Although the show should have chapter markers. Griffin, you always add chapter markers to the show, right?
Oh yeah. So we've got focus or something here. I have not.
Well,
I have
that's
not
the
looked at this
aperture, isn't it?
canvas. Oh, that is the aperture.
Chapter
Focus
selection, that's
here.
the focus. Yep.
Good stuff. Yeah, physical dials.
Wow. I just had a huge flashback to like focusing a camera.
Yeah, you don't do it much
remember
these
when
days.
autofocus didn't exist?
I do remember that actually. My first camera was a manual focus, not a manual focus camera, but a film camera. I hated that thing. I don't think I ever would have became a photographer if film still existed, or you had to use it. I don't have the patience for it.
A friend of mine is going around taking film photos, and apparently Leander's kid does the same thing. It's like it's
very trendy.
It's a fad now.
Yeah, it's just so expensive. I mean, you got to buy
I
the
was going to
film.
say, what a pain! Taking the things to get them developed and then waiting and then finally getting them. Like, oh god, 6 pictures of a lens cap and 4 blurry shots of a nothing.
That picture
Beautiful
looks pretty
picture I've
good,
taken
man.
Here. Yeah. Okay, so let's.
I'm
see
really,
if I can
I'm
do
really
a-
excited to hear what your opinion is of this camera.
Let's see. Let's see if I can do a selfie here.
All right.
Point it at myself.
Oh my god!
Let's see what
It-
majesty I've captured. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, look at that. It's got the
Looks like
background.
somebody's got a hand grabbing your head.
The
Yep.
What
the
is that?
people focus is working great. Your face is totally blurry.
Yep.
Well, to be fair, he just turned it around and pointed it at himself. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
That I guess that's another note. This camera does not have a rotating screen. So although this,
Oh.
a lot of people are describing this as kind of like what you would expect as like a dentist camera. Like it's really fancy. It looks really cool. It's a little bit behind on specs, and it has a few design compromises just to have its bold new look. And
Yeah.
Sigma is predominantly a lens company. They've made a few cameras before, but this isn't.
They've never
necessarily
made
their
one that was
forte.
popular.
They haven't
Yeah.
been too successful. If you're going to start out and you want to make your mark as a camera company, I think this is the move to do. Like, it's a gorgeous camera. It's getting a lot of attention simply because of how it looks. I mean, that's honestly the reason why I requested a review unit as well.
Yep.
It's the right move, but is this a camera that I would personally plop down $2,000 for? Not at the moment, but
It's just not very
know.
practical without the screen being
Yeah.
able to swivel in some way. But if it takes
But it
beautiful
is
pictures,
also-
yeah.
really cool. Although it's basically a gigantic like rectangle, I will say it's much more comfortable in the hand than I was expecting.
That's what I was going to
It has
ask. It looks like it would be a
hint of
pain.
thumb scoop right here. It has a little corner cut out in the side. It doesn't have like that big,
Yeah.
rounded grip that you're supposed to curl your hand around in the front. But even without that, I can grip it with my thumb pretty well, and it's got like the grips on the side where you would naturally hold on to, and it's thick enough where I feel like I've got a good grip on it. Maybe if you had larger hands than I do, but
Or what if you
Yeah.
put on a longer lens? I mean, geez.
oh yeah,
Yeah, that
possibly.
would be super uncomfortable, actually. That's what I mean. Like, this camera is not practical in any way. Like, to your point, Griffin, it is smart that they did this to kind of garner some attention for themselves because of, like, the sleek, minimalist design. And it looks like a movie prop. So maybe they'll sell some of these to Hollywood. But this being an actual popular camera, just because of all the limitations, I just don't know that anyone would
I
take
mean,
this camera seriously.
I think I remember hearing that they're not actually going to make very many of these. They have
Okay.
like a maximum run of maybe like 2,000 of them.
Okay.
So they're not going to make a lot anyways. They're like, they probably made enough to completely sell out, and it'll just be a fun like historical product for camera nerds, and
Yeah.
design nerds. But
Yeah.
yeah, these are my first impressions of it. I'll definitely have like a more in-depth review in the future.
Cool, man. Well, I await
I think
your
I've got
thoughts.
this until August 23rd, so I'll be writing a review on
Oh,
this. And
wow. They
showing
let
it
you
on the show.
they let you keep it for that long?
Yeah,
That's
Yeah.
forever. They're like, don't worry about sending it back. If you want to, go ahead. That's wild. Oh, what's this thing called again? The
Sigma BF.
The Sigma BF. It's going to be your BFF.
Really? BF. Huh.
Okay.
Yep.
I do have to say, I do like Sigma. I'm using a Sigma lens on this camera, which is overexposed right now, so don't blame that on them. But their art lenses, just all their lenses are affordable but really beautiful and create beautiful images. So I like what Sigma's doing. I'm curious to see what they end up doing and where they go. Okay. Well, you know what? I think that's it. That's all the CultCast we have for you guys this week. Great array of topics this week. We should do this more often. I don't know, man. I'm always like on the fence. I'm like, should we talk about more non-Apple stuff when there's not a lot of Apple
Nintendo
news?
should announce more consoles more often.
Yeah, well, I would love that. Every 2 years would be great. But that's it. That's all the CultCast we have for you guys this week. But the party continues in the very exclusive Cult Club, which I should probably go in there and just check in and see how things are running. Griff's in there running the show in there. If you wanted to come hang out in the Cult Club, you can. Just go to support.thecultcast.com, support.thecultcast.com, cult of 9to5macrumors.com. I'm also on the all-new X at Airfon, ERFWin, Lewis is at Lewis Wallace. Just Google D. Griffin Jones. You'll find all sorts of wonderful, joyous places to hang out with Griffin. He's all over the place. It's like, actually, how does he have time to be here? He's hanging out somewhere. Doesn't he have to like write or make a video or something? We should look into that. This has been the CultCast, the best 30-plus minute Apple conversation you're going to hear all week long. New episodes of the CultCast come out every Thursday night. I want to thank everyone for listening, for hanging out live, and we'll see you guys next time. Oh, man. This show just flew by. Now, it says we've only been live for 11 minutes. That definitely can't be right, right?
11 minutes?
No, we're still live on the YouTube page. Wouldn't that be terrible? We've been doing the show live this whole time and nobody's been watching. I guess business as usual, right? All right, everyone. I'm hurtling towards the end stream button as we speak. We've got nothing left for you. No jokes. No wise musings. Lewis's eyeballs will look like the end of Total Recall. So we're going to call it quits. Bye, y'all.